You got your spring scalp in on your lawn, you took it all the way down to dirt, removed all that dormant material, and that thing is just supposed to green right up. I mean, like fast, right? Wrong. Today on Budget Lawns, we're going to talk about why your lawn might not be greening up so fast right after your spring scalp like you expected. But I appreciate you being here. If it's your first time here on the channel, I hope it's not your last. If you like this video, if it's useful at all, give me a thumbs up, comment down below. And hey, I want you to join me and Joe from Waterboy Productions. We have a live show every Tuesday evening here on Budget Lawns, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 Central, where we talk about lawns and life and everything in between. We hope you will join us soon. Okay, so yeah, finally got my spring scalp in on my Bermuda lawn. I told you in a couple videos back about my lawn schedule, when it begins and ends. I'll leave that link down in the description below. But it finally began on April 15th. So you got this nice warm weather. You think it's just the right time to go out and scalp it, and the lawn season is just going to take off like a jet from there. Well, that's not always the case, as it is the case with me right now, because the elements just aren't in play for that Bermuda grass to really get rocking and rolling. So what needs to be in place for that Bermuda to take off? Well, the first thing is it's got to be hot. Not just warm, but it's got to be hot. Now, we went through a little warm stretch here for the spring, which is a little abnormally warm for this time of year, and now we're going to be below average temperatures. We're about to see highs only in the 60s, lows overnight in the 30s and 40s. We're talking about a possible freeze this weekend. So your temperatures have to be on the warmer to hot side. I'm talking, you want those daytime highs creeping up into the upper 80s and lower 90s, with those overnight lows consistently in the 60s, creeping up into those low 70s. If you don't have temperatures in those ranges, it's just not going to do a whole lot. You're going to have to put your patient hat on. So these daytime highs in the 60s, where our lows should be, certainly aren't helping at all. Number two, goes along with those temperatures, you may start noticing that certain sides of your house are greening up faster than others. You got to consider what cardinal direction that side of the house is facing. For instance, the back side of my house faces south, while the front side faces north. Now, the front side looks like a war zone right now because we're getting our major front lawn renovation underway, making progress each and every day, still some ways to go, but I hope you'll stick around because I'll get you updated on that and show you a little bit about that process as it has unfolded. But the back side of the house facing south, it gets a lot more sunshine. So it is going to warm those soil temperatures up a lot faster back there than it will up here. So don't expect that every piece of your lawn is going to be at the same spot at all times. Consider which cardinal direction parts of your lawn are facing. Now, a lot of this also too is going to depend where you're at in the country. Okay, I'm in the northern part of Arkansas in the transition zone, so this time of year, it's hit or miss on warm temperatures. It can be cold, it can be hot, as I'm sure it can be where you're at, but it is just not the right place for Bermuda right now. So you want it hot, and just think about which way your house is facing. You got to have some rain, and typically in the spring, that's not an issue, right? It's going to be raining all the time. April showers bring May flowers. Well, I cannot recall a spring that has been as dry as this one. We've had rain chances, storms, severe storms possible in the forecast, and for some reason or another, they are just like parting as they come over the top of my house. We have not seen rain here, measurable rainfall, in 2 weeks now, a little over 2 weeks. Now, that comes with its pluses and it comes with its negatives. On the plus side, we got this big project going on in the front lawn, and to be doing something like this in the dead center of spring, especially in April, you anticipate a lot of rain and a lot of postponing. So I'm very fortunate that it has been so dry that has not slowed that down at all, but it is slowing down the green up in the backyard a bit because I'm not watering right now. It's too early in the season for me to drag out hoses. So I'm only taking what Mother Nature gives me, and here lately, Mother Nature is not giving me anything at all. So you're starting to notice a trend here. Cool temperatures, no rain, no green for the most part. Sure, it's greening up because it's just, it's warmer than winter and early spring, so we're seeing some green up naturally, but not that real quick, vigorous green up that we would like to see by having all the right things in place. All right, let's say you do have all the right things in place. You've got the warmth, you're facing a good sunny direction and not seeing a lot of shade, and you got all the spring rains, or maybe you're watering at this point already, and you're still seeing some spots that aren't greening up. Well, I want to tell you about something that you might have if you have a Bermuda lawn. It is called spring dead spot. If you've got it, you'll start noticing that everywhere around these spots is starting to green up, but these little, sometimes circular or irregular patterns of grass are just staying brown. Maybe they're even greening up in the center portion of it. Well, there's a chance you've got spring dead spot, or in other words, winter kill. That is a disease that does its damage in the fall time. And you don't even know that you have it until it starts greening up in the spring, and those spots don't. It does its damage in the spring or in the fall. It weakens that grass throughout the winter, and if you have any hard freezes, ice, snow, or anything to damage it even more, unfortunately, that disease-damaged grass just gets killed off, and you see those brown patches that won't green up in spring. So typically, I know this sounds a little bit against the grain, you see a lot of spring dead spot in well-manicured lawns, especially Bermuda lawns. Doesn't make sense, right? I take care of it, so how do I have this disease? It just is what it is. Now, if you've got newer turf, typically it's not going to be an issue till around 3 years established. That's not to say you can't get it before then, but if your Bermuda lawn's around 3 years or older and highly maintained, and you see spots that aren't greening up like everything else around it in the spring, you very well could have spring dead spot. All right, what can you do about that? Well, kind of dig around in there and see if your stolons look real black. If you've got black stolons filling up that space, that's a good indication you've got spring dead spot as well. Tear all that dead material out. Maybe you want to aerate that space to allow some more airflow. Maybe you want to top dress it with something like a black cow and a sand mixture. I've heard that's great for spring dead spot. Something to give the stolons from out around that spot to start filling in and tacking down to, and to fill that space in on its own. Now, some people will plug other areas around their lawn and take that good grass and put it where that dead spot was. Now, if you do that and you take that dead spot out with the plugger as well, discard those plugs. Don't put them somewhere else in your lawn. Fill that other good spot up with like sand or topsoil or something and start getting that to fill back in on its own, because this is one of those diseases that's not really got a good cure for it. Not a whole lot of fungicides out there that are going to take care of that thing for you, especially on the homeowner side. And it's something that's going to keep coming back every spring, typically in the same spots, and can start to spread even more as the years go on. And the unfortunate thing is you have to dig down really, really, really deep to get down to where that disease lives. And then once it's there, it does its damage in the fall. The winter weather kills it off in the winter, and then you notice it in the spring when it's just not greening up. Hopefully you don't have it. Good news is, if you do, it's not the end of the world. I have struggled with it at my old house really badly on the north side that saw No sun in the winter, some harsh winter weather throughout the years from ice storms, snowstorms, all that stuff. And I just had to deal with it. Watched it slowly grow in, and everything turned out fine towards the middle of the summer. Okay, my friends, I hope you found this helpful to some extent. If you're getting impatient because you've done your scalp and you're just not greening up, just remember, you got to have those hot temperatures. Depends on which side of the house you're on, what cardinal direction you're facing. Some are going to warm up and green up faster. You got to have water. And unfortunately, some might not be greening up because it's just a disease, but that will be okay. I appreciate you joining me here on Budget Lawns as always. I hope you know how much your support means to me because I could not do this without you, and I hope to see you next time.